Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Stop! It's my mom's car!
Safety first for this driver, strapping on his seatbelt as he settles into the driver's seat. One big problem: he's just 7 years old. Dashboard cameras captured Daniel Wittenbach taking his family's SUV for a morning joyride.
He almost hit another work vehicle. It was a boy, a child.
He's driving the wrong way into oncoming traffic in Middletown, Ohio. Cars swerve to avoid young Daniel, who's a decade shy of getting his license. You can hear him playing music along the way. But then the inevitable happens. He hits a median and slows down. Another driver tries to help, wrapping a shirt around his hands, trying to smash in the window. Only then does Daniel think he's going to get into trouble.
Stop! It's my mom's car!
He didn't understand that people were trying to help him and trying to stop the vehicle.
Another driver tries to body block the SUV, but it still hits this Jeep head on.
You're okay. You're okay.
Daniel wasn't hurt and remains blissfully unaware of the danger that he was in. So where was he going?
His only response was, well, I just wanted a slushie from Speedway.
Turns out his parents keep the keys stored high on a wall, but Daniel's a climber.
I'm just thankful that he's alive.
So this actually reminds me of a story. When my son, who is now 14, was 2 years old, we were living in Tupelo, Mississippi, and my then 4-year-old daughter, who's now 16, woke me up and says, I can't find my brother. And the front door's wide open. So I jump up, I'm wearing nothing but underwear. I run into the living room, I see that the door's wide open, and we had locked it when we went to sleep. I run over to the door and look outside. We're on the second floor of the apartment complex. I look outside, out into the parking lot, scanning everywhere that I can see, and I don't see him anywhere. So I run downstairs, still in my underwear, and I'm running around in the parking lot screaming, AVN, AVN, trying to find him. And then I hear a giggling sound, and I turn and look, and he has climbed into somebody's Mustang, and he's wearing nothing but a t-shirt. He's taking off his underwear, he's taking off his pants, he's wearing nothing but a t-shirt, and he's sitting in some guy's Mustang just pretending like he's driving. Yeah, this is absolutely terrifying. That was probably one of the scariest moments of my life because I thought that someone had come in and kidnapped my son. A little PSA here: just because you think your kids can't get to the keys or can't reach the door lock, they'll find a way.
I made a video not too long ago talking about how animals in the ocean have been acting strange by huddling up or beaching themselves, and a lot of you wanted me to go over the Leviathan. Now, I've talked about this before, but in this video I'll go into more details about prophecies surrounding this creature and why some people believe that it plays a role in the strange behavior of our marine life. Now, the theories about Leviathan initially began back in 2020 when we were told that the ice in Antarctica was melting and revealing 300-mile-long ancient rivers underneath it. Around the same time, there were a lot of strange events happening in our waters, like multiple ocean fires and the US military testing 40-ton bombs in the middle of the ocean as well. Fast forwarding to this year, there was a huge anomaly caught on radar coming from Antarctica, and while we were initially told that this was just a glitch, the anomaly ended up coming back and even changing shapes, which led multiple people to believe that this wasn't a glitch at all. This strange series of events led to multiple theories that a creature known as Leviathan was trapped in the ancient rivers of Antarctica but separated from our oceans by the Arctic ice. But once that ice melted, it was freed into our waters, prompting military preparation and disturbing our ocean's wildlife in the process. For those of you who may not know, Leviathan is a sea creature spoken about in the Bible and given very specific characteristics. The creature is said to have almost impenetrable scales, produce so much heat that the water around it boils, and is 300 miles long, which just so happens to be the same length as the ancient river that was discovered under Antarctica. And although it isn't mentioned by name, some people believe that it is one of the beasts that rises up in the book of Revelation before being slain by God in end-time prophecies.
So I'm going to need to actually see this thing before I can get on board with the Leviathan still existing. I'm not writing it off as having existed in the past, but I'm not seeing any evidence to show that it's still here, and I don't think that that anomaly on that radar screen is the Leviathan. I think that that is probably some sort of a nuclear weapon testing that's just creating large tidal waves. That's my best guess as to what that is at this point in time.
There was this video, this girl in a parking lot with her two friends, and they're freaking out, and her car is covered in just a huge load of poop. Just a huge dropping front, top, back. Poop? The two girlfriends show up. The girl's like, listen, you have to believe me. I saw a pterodactyl.
What? Oh my.
She said this thing was 20 feet wide, and she heard it and she saw it, and she says, I'm not joking. It pooped on my car. And there is literally just this huge mess.
Oh, that's weird.
It's super creepy. There's people that say, like, in the comments, they're like, dude, my grandpa swore he saw one in his farm one time, like flying over. Like, they're like real thing.
When they were going out west and stuff,
Yep.
like early America, a lot of these people, like on the Oregon Trail, they reported seeing these thunderbirds.
Yeah, I heard a story about one of the guys came into a saloon. He was like, I shot one. He couldn't carry it back, but he cut off a big strap of wing, and it was basically just a huge piece of leather that wasn't leather.
It was
Something like that.
Life finds a way.
So my biggest problem with the whole pterodactyl theory, the theory that they still exist and are still flying around, is that we don't have any legitimate photos or videos of them that seem to be real. We've got a couple that are clearly fake, but we don't have any that have the appearance of being legitimate. And this is an animal we're talking about. It's not something that would be actively trying to hide because it knows that it's prehistoric and shouldn't exist anymore, so it's trying to keep a low profile. It would just be flying around. We would see it everywhere. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I make a new one just like it every day, Monday through Friday. It would be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back to join me.
I've been hearing a few people complain about how their food has been feeling and tasting strange recently. There's even a video floating around where you can see food bursting open, some food sparking or having a chemical reaction while being stirred, and something I've even personally experienced, fruits having a sort of Play-Doh or rubbery texture. Now, in general, the consensus regarding food has been on a steady decline in the last couple of years. I've been hearing from people claiming that their food has not been tasting as good as it once did, or even has a metallic taste to it. But now people are coming up with multiple theories about what's actually going on behind the scenes of our food companies. The first theory states that a lot more of our fruits and meats are lab grown than we're made to believe. What's interesting about this theory is that we've actually heard about lab grown meat for quite some time, but lab-grown fruit is quite new. According to scientists, their goal is to grow fruit without any trees, vines, or bushes, but what if they're further along than we're made to believe and they're already selling lab-grown fruit in stores? The second theory states that specifically in the US, there's so many preservatives and additives in the food that we're most likely eating more chemicals than the actual food item itself. And with most of these chemicals being banned overseas, maybe some of these are the reason for the rubbery feeling and the strange taste that we get in our food.
So I know that they're working on lab-grown meat. That's a given. They're trying to force that on everybody. But I don't think that they're working on lab-grown vegetables and fruits. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying that they're not doing that. It just doesn't make any sense to me why they would even attempt it, because you can grow so much on an acre of land, and then you take a similar sized lab facility, you're not going to be able to grow as much stuff in there as you would just planting it in the ground. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why they would even be attempting that. I think a lot of this is either people manipulating the food to try to make a interesting looking video, or they're buying food that looks ripe that's not ripe all the way yet, and that's why it has this rubbery texture, because it's not ready to eat. Now, I do think that they try to speed up the ripening process by using chemicals or other means to try to ripen the fruit faster, and I think it gives the appearance of it being ripe, but it's not fully ripened. And so people are buying stuff that they think is ready to eat, and it's just not.
It's basically like stepping from one room to another. There's nothing strange about it. It's literally like waking up from a dream. Like when you have a very realistic dream, and it's no matter how real it seems, when you wake up in the morning, you go, oh wow, that was really realistic, but this is who I really am. Right. This is my real life. So he's basically saying when you die, it's like you just woke up from that. It's like, well, that was really real, but this is who I really am.
Yeah.
You're waking up into your real self because you're already there. You're just pretending that you're not. But you are aware. A part of the soul, a part of you is having this dream. It's not the total of you. So that's why he's saying, you know, when people die, when they cross over, we miss them more than they miss us because we're already there. They can communicate with us in spirit, because we never leave spirit. That's our natural state. We can't leave, but we can pretend we can. We can dream like we can. And that's what physical reality is. It's an opportunity to forget who we are as a timeless being and discover something new. By forgetting, we can remember a new perspective. We can rediscover ourselves. And that's, again, how we grow. That's how creation expands.
So I just thought this would be interesting to put in there, because a lot of people are, and I say a lot, I mean most people, are scared of death. And that's one of the biggest fears that exist is, the fear of dying and not knowing what's going to happen whenever you cross the veil. But from all of the research that I've done and all of the past life regression therapy sessions that I've listened to, it seems like it is literally just waking up from a dream. It seems like that's what death is. And it's essentially blinking, and when your eyes are open, you're in one place. When they close and open again, you're in a new place. It's that quick and painless and easy. And I just thought that this was a good thing to share because so many people are scared of it. But of all the people who have died and gone under hypnosis to talk about it, they all talk about how peaceful it is and that it's not something that they're scared of anymore. I just find that interesting and thought I would share it.
According to an article, bacteria on the ISS has mutated into something that has never been seen on Earth before. This mutation is apparently due to the bacteria's prolonged exposure to microgravity, solar radiation, and high carbon dioxide levels. They are already considering these superbacteria because the mutation has caused them to be highly resistant to antibiotics and other treatments. Now, to me, this sounds like something straight out of a movie. I mean, if these mutated bacteria were to make it to Earth and start multiplying and spreading, who knows what would happen. And the longer that they stay in low orbit, the more they may mutate and become stronger against antibiotics that we have on Earth. Now, what I find interesting is that for the last couple of years, there's been some concern about microbes, including germs and bacteria, attaching themselves to equipment going to low Earth orbit. People were specifically concerned because once these microorganisms got to the ISS, they were making the astronauts aboard sick. According to NASA, most of the equipment that comes back is safe and decontaminated from bacteria. But if a mutated microorganism starts growing inside of a human and that human starts walking around on Earth spreading it, that might be a different story.
This is more terrifying than gain-of-function research because this is something that's new, that we don't have anything to combat, and we're still sending people to the ISS. So the odds of somebody getting infected with that and then bringing it back home with them are pretty high, I would think.
Throw away your fork. Did you know your digestion is ruined when you use this? Because your body needs to touch the food, so it activates the digestion system. Humans are made with trichromatic vision, which means our brains are wired to seek out color. Because our brains are wired to seek fruit, which is food. Food does not run away from you on legs. It grows under the electric sun to charge your electric body. Have an amazing day, people.
I have one question for you. If we're not supposed to be eating animals, why do they taste so delicious? This is a legitimate question. I know that's a meme, like a joke. I'm asking that question in all seriousness. If we're not supposed to be eating animals, then why do they taste so freaking delicious? And why are they good for you? Why is there's so much protein and good nutrients and stuff in a good cut of meat? I just cannot get behind the vegan argument.
Hollow or Middle Earth theory states that our world is not simply structured with the inner core, outer core, mantle, and crust like we've been taught, but instead is hollow in the center, containing oceans, landmass, and possibly even life. This theory actually expands by stating you can actually get there through holes at the North and South Pole, or by traveling deep within cave systems that are located all over our world. In my last video, I spoke about how an ocean that was bigger than all oceans on the surface combined was discovered 700 kilometers beneath Earth's surface. But in 2023, there were also underground mountains that were discovered near Earth's core that are 5 times bigger than Mount Everest. Now, this is not by any means hard evidence that the Earth is hollow, but if it took this long for scientists to know that there is water and large land masses inside the Earth, couldn't they have missed other things? I mean, even a well-known admiral named Richard Byrd got on live TV during the 50s and stated that there was another landmass beyond the South Pole that had never been explored before. I want you to listen to what he said for yourself, and then leave a like if you want me to provide evidence for Hollow Earth.
Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this Earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing.
So I haven't given a ton of thought into the hollow earth theory. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think one way or the other, but I do think it's very interesting that they're making these discoveries of this landmass and all these water systems and stuff under the earth. And We've got all these tunnel systems that show that we used to have large civilizations living underground, and we have all these videos of these crafts flying out from underneath the water. I think that's where all these aliens or whatever's flying these UFOs, I think that's where they're staying, is underground. I think all the evidence points to that. I don't think they're coming from off planet. I think they've been here for a long time, and that's where they're hiding out.
Separation is all an illusion.
What do you mean it's an illusion?
We appear to be sitting in two separate chairs with a space in between us. But we're all atoms on an energetic grid that's connected and has always been connected. So the space in between us appears to be a distance, but if you go on the quantum level, you discover that we're both local. We're still in the same position, which is the original position. This entire universe is made up of a complete holography. We're living in a fractal holographic matrix, a matrix of light. And it doesn't take away from there being a creator, because what I'm telling you about is the method used to make this creation. The method is a fractal holographic matrix, a matrix of light. Quantum physicists will tell you that a human being exists both as a wave of light and also solid matter. And they got the first image of a wave converting into solid matter on a special type of camera. This is in physics.org. So in wave particle duality, they discovered that everything in the entire universe exists first as waves of light until a conscious observer interacts with it, and then it collapses.
So my takeaway from this is that we're living in a hologram, but that doesn't mean what we thought it might mean. That it's not necessarily that we're in some computer simulation hologram where we have a creator that's sitting on a computer writing out code, but that our universe is just created in such a way that this is how things function, that we have the appearance of living in a hologram. That's just the basis of our reality. We saw in a clip a few days ago Billy Carson make the comment that whenever you are creating something, you're just stacking the right types of atoms in the correct sequence to create an item out of thin air, to bring it from imagination into reality. And the idea of speaking things into existence, if you think back to the Bible and God speaking things into existence, that's essentially the same thing as taking an idea and stacking the atoms in such a way that it becomes reality. I think that, to me, this idea that we live in this holographic simulation that's created in this specific way makes me feel like this is a little bit of evidence to point in the direction that there is a God.
Are people waking up to the truth of this reality? Listen to this.
Space is not real.
What do you mean by that?
Space isn't real. It's only the sun and the moon.
Facts.
It's only the sun and the moon. Yeah.
For real?
Space is not real.
I did not know that.
And the earth is flat.
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why do you think?
I don't agree with it.
No, I'm gonna tell you. Why do you think scientists? It's proven. You can search this up after the podcast or whenever. Now it's up to you. Scientists went down in the earth, right? They tried to go to the earth's crust. They found water. I thought it was hot. What happened?
I thought it was too.
Exactly. It's water found. And in the Bible, it said he divided the waters in the midst, meaning in the middle, right? He divided the waters from the top and the bottom. Basically, it's waters below us and waters above us. That's why the sky is blue. It's not because of a reflection. They lied. The sky is just blue because it's water above us. Why do you think God flooded the earth so easily with Noah? He literally opened the firmament, the heavens. I'm going to show you something. You know satellites? Satellites, there's no real picture of a satellite. Space is not real, bro.
I didn't know that.
Ain't no real picture of no satellite. It ain't real. It's not real.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Every photo is edited. I might be speaking too much.
Okay, since we're all adults now, right? We got our own thinking caps on. Can we agree that this right here is not a satellite? Can we all agree that this is something much more grandiose than a satellite or multiple floating satellites, since it's already been proven that all satellite pictures are fake and they're Photoshop? Look at that, y'all. This can't be a satellite. This is too amazing. And also the video of the mouse that was caught in space. With the earth behind it. Yeah, it's over, Elon.
So I'm not a flat earther, and I don't believe that space is fake. I think that this girl is reading into some bad conspiracy theories and buying into it hook, line, and sinker. But I do think that this is a clip worth watching because it's showing that people are starting to question their reality and question what they've been fed all their lives. So people are starting to wake up. Maybe they're waking up to the wrong information, but they're waking up to the idea of questioning things, and that's very, very powerful.
People are once again recording and claiming to witness two suns in the sky. As some of you may remember, back in 2020, multiple videos and pictures hit the internet where people claimed to have witnessed multiple suns in the sky. And even though these pictures went viral almost everywhere, it was scrubbed about a day later and people stopped talking about it soon after. Fast forwarding to 2024, people are not only recording two suns in the sky again, but they're also catching a lens flare on their phone which shows a strange octagonal shape coming from the sun as well. Now obviously all this has led to some very mixed reviews and strange theories. Most people believe that this is just some sort of camera glitch or possibly a naturally occurring phenomenon, while others believe that there may be more going on, stating that this could be a secondary planet entering our atmosphere, a reflection from our natural sun bouncing off of a firmament above us, or an artificial simulated sun that's meant to cover up our real sun. Now obviously all of this is just speculation and theories, not to be taken as facts, but I did find something very interesting around the artificial sun theory. In the 1960s, a patent was filed for something called an illumination system. If you look into this patent, it says that this device is meant to be a sun simulator that simulates sunlight, earth light, and moonlight over a large distance. And if you look at this device's design, it appears to show the same hexagonal shape that we've been seeing in the lens flare that's apparently coming from our sun now. Now all of that could definitely just be a coincidence, but given that this patent was filed in the 1960s and they've had about 60 years to work on it, maybe there is something up there.
When I first started watching this clip on TikTok, I almost skipped over it. And then he got to the part where he's talking about that patent and he shows that fractal pattern, that little grid that's in it. Man, that looks suspicious. That looks eerily similar to what people are picking up on camera. That makes me wonder, is this a part of Project Bluebeam and they're trying to match the sun? Are they testing this out but trying to get it relatively close to where the sun is so it's not as noticeable while they test it? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but that looks highly suspicious.
This is going to blow your mind on as to why some of these things were created. And then this goes right back to all of our history being a lie, y'all. Check this out. This is crazy.
Believe it? High heels were invented to avoid stepping in poop. Perfume was created to mask the stench of feces. And princess dresses were designed for easy public urination and defecation. Yes, this all took place in what we think of as the Romantic era of medieval Europe, which was far dirtier than you might imagine. The streets and even the Grand Versailles Palace were littered with human waste. Walking down the street, you'd better carry an umbrella, lest you get hit by falling excrement. Noble women, adorned in their splendid, voluminous princess gowns, would simply relieve themselves where they stood, especially during long banquets, leaving behind quite the unsanitary scene. To combat the pervasive odor, King Louis XIV of France, who wasn't fond of bathing, popularized the use of perfume to cover up both body odor and the smell of feces, making it a sought-after luxury among the aristocracy. Additionally, Europeans invented high heels and stockings to keep their feet clean from the muck, with the tallest heels reaching up to 50 centimeters, illustrating the depth of the filth on the streets. The prevailing feudal mindset, which held that everything, including dust and waste, was created by God, led people to see public urination and defecation as something not to be ashamed of, but rather a point of pride. This, combined with the high population density and the absence of indoor plumbing, turned entire cities into veritable cesspools. No wonder Voltaire remarked on this era as dirty and barbaric, highlighting the stark difference between the idealized view of medieval Europe and its grimy reality.
And they wonder where the Black Plague came from. This... Man, you know, you think back to times like this, it's romanticized in movies and stuff, and you think, wow, I wish I would have lived in that time. I wish I could have experienced what that was like. And then you see the reality of it, and you think, whew, boy, am I glad I was born in the 1900s. I just thought that was a really good example of how everything that we're taught in school about pretty much all of history is a lie. We're never told the actual true details of anything. We're never given reality. We're misled on everything or just flat out lied to. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. This is Friday and I'm ready to start my weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed these clips that we watched together today. I'll be back on Monday with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope everybody has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you on Monday.